My name is Ray Bowler, and I'm going to be talking about my passion for stonewalling. I moved to Cornwall 30 years ago, and stonewalling was never of any interest to me at all at the time. But my passion grew from living here and being in this land of stone and being constantly surrounded by images of stone walls. I found a real interest in this. It was some years before I endeavoured to start building my own walls, and I felt satisfied, but they were never good enough. I would compare them to other walls I knew, and I thought, oh no, that's better. Now he's got better stone than I have, but that person's got those stones bedded perfectly. And I, over a period of time, strived to build the perfect wall. I've derived great comfort from making stones fit together. It's physical, it's tactile, it's satisfying, and it's useful. Somehow all of those ingredients seem to make it something that keeps pulling me back. And when I haven't built a stone wall for a period of time, I'm tending to want to get out and have another project and do something else to the landscape. And it's become, dare I say it, a bit of an obsession. I think for me, this process of building walls has a real earthing effect. And I think when I get a bit strung out with the aspirations or fantasies of what life may be and things that might happen, my unconscious takes me back to wall building to earth me again. This study of where my boundaries are, where I want to maintain my boundaries, is internal as well as external. And over the years, as I've gone further and further into this, and I realised how hard it was for me in my early life to draw boundaries and say, no, that's enough, you don't come in here, or you don't do this, you know, you can't have that. So the walls have a really powerful inner purpose as well as an outer one. From stonewallers I've spoken to, they share many of these perceptions. If they get really deeply drawn into the work, they share a passion for wanting to express themselves more and more. There are things that stonewallers talk about when they build stone walls that I've learnt and I've felt for myself, and I've compared with other stonewallers. There's a joy of the stones fitting perfectly, there's a passion for certain sort of textures, there's a passion for certain sorts of stone. I subscribe to the idea of wall building being a kind of divination, of picking a stone up and making it fit, somehow knowing that the stone has a home. Every stone, no matter how rough or rugged, will ultimately have a place in a perfect wall. I've seldom had the luxury of choosing absolutely what stone I want to work with. Most of the time, the challenge to work with whatever I've got is a great motivation. It brings great joy when the roughest of stones can be made to fit perfectly. Stonewalling for me became a means of escaping from the hurly-burly of being with people all the time. And it's been a very solitary activity for me, and it still is a solitary activity. The ones who are most invested in what they're doing don't tend to go out and talk about it because it's only stonewalling, isn't it? I'd like to see this language of this country craft expanded from simple utility to something where creativity is encouraged, where personal expression becomes a big part of the commissioning process and the features of the landscape. And I'd like to see some of these stone walls incorporate more arches, more features, maybe alcoves, maybe some sort of feature that each stone waller feels is his ken to add to the language of the countryside that's so rich in Cornwall. There's a metaphor for life, that every stone has its place, whatever shape, however rough, however crude, it has a place in the whole and it serves a purpose. Whether it's a colourful and nicely shaped stone for a facing, or whether it's a rough stone with no straight edges that fits behind, that adds structure to the wall, that adds stability. It doesn't matter what shape they are, they all have a purpose. And I feel in life, the society that we've built, where we're made to fit into many holes that we really don't want to go into. We're made to fit into the normality and ignore the parts of ourselves that are not being expressed. I find this really a crime against humanity, and I would like to see more people understanding that there is a place, and their rightful place is where they should be, and where they deserve to be. They shouldn't be making themselves fit into spaces they don't belong. This is an ambition for civilization to mould people to something that is exactly the same as his neighbour. It has no difference whatsoever. There is no individuality, there is no scope for expression, and that within that structure and civilization we flower, we become part of a greater whole, and I'm not so sure that really is the truth. I'm not so sure civilization really understands what it's doing. And for me, stonewalling, making those random stones fit in the most beautiful way possible, tells me the sort of world I want to live in.